Hosea Burton, obviously, he was ready for the MTK semi-finals. Went down on the Monday, went to do the draw on the Tuesday, and then the show was cancelled. So I feel sorry for him and the other fighters that were in it, Conroy and the lads. Obviously, they fought, they've had a Christmas, they've spent the Christmas money, they're in the gym, and like a lot of fighters, they spend the money before they get it, don't they? And I felt so sorry for Opie. He had good sparring, and he was really in a good place. There was no man in the country, no light heavyweight in the country that was going to beat Opie Burton that night. That week, he was absolutely on it, the best I've ever seen him. And it was just a huge disappointment. And to have got there to the Tuesday, 2 days before the weigh-in, and it called off, it was disappointing for him. Obviously now, when they get back to work, whenever it'll be, July, August, September, I think that's coming around to closely to a year. Do you know what I mean? So it's a long time for fighters to go about money. And I did say to Opie at the time, we'll speak to the people involved and just say, listen, we've got a fight, we've done our hard work. Is there any chance we could have a sub of our purse to have got us through and paid for what the training camp we've just gone through? Do you know what I mean? And just deduct it from the purse when they do fight. So I don't know how that's gone, but that was a suggestion that I said to him to go and do, because it's hard. It's 10 weeks of sacrifice. They paid a lot of money out on nutrition and S&C coaches and sparring partners and gym subs and everything. So at the end of it, not having anything. And then obviously we had Natasha Jonas as well. She was due to fight Terry Harper for the world title, which was a huge opportunity for Natasha. Training was going well. It was like a lot of them, the camps. Callum Johnson was up in camp training. Now, I was so disappointed for Callum Johnson. He was due to fight March the 7th, then it went March the 28th, then it went Newcastle, then it was supposed to be May the 2nd, and God, he's been messed up and down the motorways, putting up in digs, missing son's birthday parties, and I feel so sorry for Callum Johnson, but he's staying focused. I told him to stay focused. He's in the gym where he is, built a little gym at home, and he's training, and this has got to be a huge year for Callum Johnson, and I'm really looking forward to it. Like Tasha, I see Terry Harper training, all the fighters, they're all, it's all they've ever known, isn't it? Get up in the morning, go train, do a run, do something, and you see social media full of it at the moment. So it's more for a mental thing as well. And like you say, for Natasha, Callum and Opie, who had them 3 fights lined up, like I say, Scott Cook was saying how lucky he was that he managed to squeeze his fight in before it broke out. But their fights had to happen once the calendar picks back up again. Liam Smith, there was huge talk of him and Brooke. But from what I'm reading now, I think Brooke, Terence, Crawford is a fight that's got to be muted. So it'll be interesting to see where Liam goes. It's fortunate, really. I would have liked Liam to have been out on the Manchester show. So his missus is due having a baby sometime in April, in the next couple of weeks. He's got to enjoy being a father. I'm sure his missus is chuffed that he's got no boxing gym, so he can't escape no father duties, new dad duties, and he'll enjoy that. So that's a bit of a silver lining in a cloud for Liam and his missus. Stephen Smith, obviously, he was in the gym ticking over, waiting for an opportunity or a big fight from Eddie to come through. Also Sam Hyde, obviously, there was talks of Riapol vacating the British, and I would love the board to have made the Dion Juma Sam Hyde rematch. That would have been a great fight. It was a belting fight. You were there, Andi, weren't you?
Yeah,
and,
it was a good
at
fight.
the beginning of the year, and it was a great fight, and it'll do justice for the pair of them to have that as a rematch for a vacant British. But there's like I say, busy stable, and Paul Butler, he was in camp as well, training for a big fight as well. But like everything, I listened to Tony Sims the other day, his podcast, like I say, in the gym. Everyone misses the gym a little bit. I see John Ryder missing the gym, his gym mates, and it's like they're going to work a little bit, but we're all in touch, we're all on the phone, lads are doing the training, and Natasha, and they're staying focused, and hopefully everyone's staying healthy. And we did the gym as long and as far as we could do, and then text messages I think it was on the Monday, just saying, are we in the gym today? And I just thought, listen, we're being a bit foolish now. We've got to, people close to us, we can't take any risks, and getting fined, try and make your way into the gym. Obviously, Natasha and Marcus, they were mad to get in the gym, and so were the others. But I was just like, no, we've got to be sensible at home, and we've got to think about leaving the gym and going home to our own families and picking it up and passing it on. And there's quite a few of us in the gym with elder parents or grandparents, and couldn't bear the responsibility that they may have caught it from being in a boxing gym environment.
I mean, there was just a few guys there, and Tasha as well, who I just wanted to get an extra few questions in on. Just start off with Hosea. What was that experience like? Obviously, you'd all travelled down on the Monday, getting ready for the fight week to take place, and then everything got cancelled on the Tuesday. What was that entire situation like?
It's mad. Hopefully went down on the Monday night, like we did last time. Hopefully went down on the Monday with his brother. They wanted him down there for Tuesday. They've got to do the draw. I trained everyone on Monday, and my plan was always to go down on the Wednesday after the Wednesday training session, to go down there then, ready for the weigh-in Thursday, fight Friday. So who's down there, they checked in, and then on the Tuesday he said, I think they call to cancel it. So I said, well, ask him to do the draw at least, and then we'll be able to know who we got then for the next round. But I think that's part of the tournament, and they're not knowing who you get on the week. So, but I know for Ofe, he was absolutely gutted, but I do know Ofe was quite concerned as well about catching anything in London and bringing it home and bringing it back to the site and giving it his parents. And yeah, he was quite worried Ofe with it at the same time as well. So I think the best thing was done then for everybody. Like you say, you can't put a price on your health, and your health is your wealth.
Certainly is. And Tasha Jonas as well, obviously you mentioned she was on the verge of facing Terry Harper for that world title. I saw an article come out about saying that she's going to struggle a little bit financially whilst everything's going on and we're in the current situation. How gutting and disappointed was you for her when everything fell through?
I was, because Tasha was in a really good place. She was training well, and I think when you've got a stable, obviously when you have Callum Johnson, Natasha, Paul Butler, Hosea Burton, they're all in the gym, they were training. Callum Smith was training, he had his fight ahead on him. He knew if he didn't fight May the 2nd, it'd be either a week before or a week or two after it. Everyone was in it, so when they're all training together and working together, you're getting the best of them all. They're all usually motivated, got a quick adjust sport, so the gym was bouncing, and Natasha was absolutely on it, and she had the bit between the teeth. Now, I wouldn't say the opportunity's gone, but you've got to make the best sort of the extra time that he'd been given. Like Callum Johnson, who originally May the 7th went to May the 2nd, March the 7th to May the 2nd, now will go to whatever. And he, obviously beginning, he had a shoulder operation last year, but the longer they leave it, it's got to be, the better it is for Callum Johnson. He's absolutely firing at the moment, and the same with Natasha Jonas. I think that little setbacks like this, for a few of them, I think it's done the world of good. For others, I'm not too sure. Do you know what I mean? Hosea Burton was absolutely red hot that week, and Callum Smith was training really well. Liam Smith was ready to get his teeth into something. So, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
And then just with Liam Smith as well, you mentioned to me before you wanted to try and get the Teixeira fight for the WBO title. Again, any discussions there? Anything that you did kind of try to maybe push Eddie towards?
What's that one, sorry?
The Teixeira fight for Liam Smith. Have you had any discussions there?
Well, no, he's got his mandatory coming up, hasn't he? So he's got his mandatory, and then after that, then Liam's will become the mandatory. He'll be the number one. So the Brooke fight, Sky were really big on pushing Liam down there at Sheffield and Kel for. But from what I understand, I think Kel will probably be fighting Terence Crawford. So I think for Liam, it's a case of having a fight and biding his time, and he'll become mandatory, and he'll get the world title shot. And I've always said there's another world title and a world championship reign for Liam Smith. He's hugely talented, and when I've been sat back watching the fighters, each one of the careers over this last week or two, and studying them, it's you only have to appreciate how good Liam Smith really is, and he's definitely a two-time world champion. Definitely, it's up to him and to make sure that we get the opportunities, and I'm sure Liam Smith won't let anyone down once he gets that.
I mean, just on Brooke, what did you have any discussions on the back of obviously his fight in Sheffield? Did you speak to anyone about trying to make that link?
No. Listen, that's down to Liam's management team, MTK, and Eddie Hearn. So, but from what Liam reverted back to me, there was nothing much said really from what I understand. So, I think Sky were keen on it. It's a good fight, good domestic fight, and I see like everyone else as it was funny, like Callum Smith was saying and Billy Joe at the time, social media knew more about what was happening with the potential fight with Canelo than they did, and it seems like as well when you wake up in the morning you see they're about doing all English fights like a Fury Joshua and a Johnson Buatsi and a Brooke Smith and stuff like that, and it's like, right, okay, that's the way they've got to go, but to pull off something like that, like you say, everyone's got to be out of work for a while. Everyone's got to be wanting paying, and I think fighters will want paying. I think promoters have to realise that some of these fighters wouldn't have fought for nearly a year. The time they are allowed to box again, and they'll want paying well for what they used to get for an amount. They'll want a lot more, and I think that's something else that the promoters will have to realise as well, that they've been out of work for a long time, and that they've got a huge debts that they've ran up, and they need paying. They need clear enough.
Just on Cal Brook, before we do edge towards the end of this interview, Joe, obviously you mentioned that Terence Crawford fight, seen it coming up over social media. If that was to happen, what are your thoughts on it?
Crawford's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. I don't rave over him in the way that some others do. He's a good fighter. I've seen him when he fought Ricky Burns up in Glasgow, and I've seen him fight, obviously, in his big fights. But Kell Brook's a good fighter. It's what's left with Kell, and how motivated is he got to take the Crawford fight as, listen, this is my cash out, this is my payout, or is he going to go into it and go, listen, this is my last chance, I can beat him, I'll get this huge money and beat him, I'll get another huge money payday, and whether he's going to have a Clubber Lang Mr. T attitude for it, do you understand, that hungry challenger, and believe in himself, or has he just got to go there, train, give it his best, but deep down knew it'd be his last shot. So it all depends on Kell Brook, and I know Dominic will be usually motivated. Dom likes the big fights, he likes to cause the upsets, and I'm sure he'll be drilling Kell Brook to have that mindset and that opportunity.
Well, Joe, I will leave it there now, and I know that you're a busy man. You've got a few things that you've got to do today, but as always, it's been a pleasure to catch up. Do you have any final words for everybody?
Just like everyone stay safe and everything else. I also feel it'll be interesting now when boxing picks up, who returns to the sport in boxing, as in fighters. I think this period of time we could lose a lot of fighters because they just can't sustain a living and an income over a period of time without getting work. So it'd be interesting to see who returns to the sport. Really tough times for the sport of boxing, really is, and it'd be interesting to see, like you see, who comes back, and because of there going to be so many big shows put on straight away, your Matchroom, Frank Warren's, everyone's got to be putting huge big shows, and everyone want to be on them. It goes, the paying public, there's only so many boxing shows they can go to, and how badly it's got to hurt the small hall scene. It's got to take a while before the small hall scene will be able to get up and running again and stage shows, because everyone's got to be a bit tight for money when the boxing starts again. That's what I really worry about, grassroots boxing, when this kicks back up, and how long it'll take for that to recover, to be able to start staging shows again, and the general public having a bit of money in the pocket, so then to be deciding which shows to go to, because small old promoters have got to be up against so much big opposition. Do you know what I mean? When you've got to be throwing on every week a huge stadium fight or arena fight, and people are just getting back to work, getting wages, paying off debts and everything. It's got to be a tough time. It's all good throwing the big boys straight into it and that, but it's like I said to you, the small fighters, the journeymen, the up and coming prospects. the wives telling them and girlfriends, look, listen, look, you can't live your life like that, not knowing when your next payday is. It's very, very, very tough time, and be interesting to see when it all starts up again, how boxing recovers from this.
I know I just said that was a final word, Joe, but just because you've mentioned that, obviously I know you was looking to put a show on in April. I know obviously that's not going to happen now, but with that in mind, how's it kind of changed your own strategies moving forward with regards to putting on any shows in the future?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like straight away. I've seen where they said, "Oh, we've got to do some shows and do it behind closed doors." I'm like, I can't understand that. Like, why we do it behind closed doors? We're either safe again and we're healthy and carry on life as normal, or we're not. So if you're doing it behind closed doors, then there must be some type of risk element still. And why do that? Why put people at risk? If you haven't got the full clean bill of health, then don't do it. You understand? I don't get that. I just don't get that at all. I just don't get it. I just think is everyone going to be assured that they've been coronavirus at the test? Has everyone been tested negative? Is it something the British Boxing Board of Control got to add to the medicals now? Is all the production team, is all the cabin crew in the trucks, the ring people, is everyone in that show going to have been tested? I think it's a very hard thing to do. So I just think to myself, well, just wait till it's all done and the general public can come in and that's it. I find it hard. I think we all talk about sometimes in interviews. I have fighters who Crawler when he fought the arena with crowds and Ricky Hatton's crowd and stuff like that, and sometimes you think, would there be the same fighter without that crowd? Because it lifted him, it gave him another level. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And, I just think to myself, it's great at home, sat watching it, but for the fighters that are doing it in the studio, it's like a spar. And I've always said that you walk into a gym and you say, he's this and this, you look at him and you go, him doesn't look that much. On fight night, he's a total different kid. Then you can walk into a gym and you can see like Sugar Ray Leonard. So you go, wow. And you watch them fight and they don't carry it into the ring with them. Do you understand this? I don't think that'd be fair on fighters to be having them closed doors. I don't think so at all.
Well, Joe, we will leave that there now because as I said,
listening to Adam Smith talking all the time, that's talking while you're fighting him and Macklin, and you can hear their commentary as you know when you're there at the big shows at the beginning. But I think the fighters will have to stop fighting and say, well, you two just be quiet for 1 minute, we're trying to fight here.
Joe, we will leave it there now because obviously, like I said, I know you've got a few things to do with your family today. I'll leave you to crack on, and there's always been a pleasure to catch up with you. Hopefully I'll see you in the near future as well once all this has hopefully sorted itself out and things return to some sort of normality. There's always been a pleasure, as I say. Thank you, Speak to Boxing Social.
Thank you, mate.